Randy, I put a short sleeve shirt on this morning.
I see that.
And I'll show the shirt in a few minutes, but I put a short sleeve shirt on this morning, and then I had to go turn the heat on. It's chilly out here, man.
Yeah, some days are like that, but anyway, that's a pretty impressive looking shirt. Let's say it says smoke.
We'll talk about this in a minute. We'll talk about it in a minute, man.
Smoke cigars.
I like that. There's a bottom piece. There's some really impactful words in the bottom. We'll talk about it. So,
okay.
Introduce yourself to the world, man.
Yeah, Randy Wooden, Goodwill Industries, Northwest North Carolina, the director for a professional center, and have been since since they hired me to start the program, and that's been almost 10 years now.
Yeah,
believe it or not, 10 years. So we're still cranking stuff out and trying to help job hunters, but in addition to some other things I do in the media with the Winston-Salem Journal and Fox 8, and there's also WBFJ radio, and I do some other talks to different groups and such. I get together with my friend Teddy Burriss a couple of times a week, and we talk about job hunting tips and business in general and professional development. So let me turn it to you to introduce yourself, and then we'll dive into the old birthdays and
we'll go to some stories.
Yeah.
Hey, for that, there's 3 people. I'm looking at them, Randy. They're up in the upper decks, in the theater, all the way up top. I can't turn the lights down, man. But anyway, they're up there. They don't know who I am. Okay. So for those who've never met me, I run a business called Burriss Consulting. Mm-hmm. We teach social media. We teach LinkedIn. We teach Google Workplace to business professionals who want to use those tools as business tools. And I have a lot of fun doing that. Been doing it since December 15th, 2010. And, but yeah, like Randy said, twice a week we get together, and, Mondays we tell a little bit of stories, and so tip or two, and Wednesday's our big show. And we'll tell you who our special guest is coming up for this week in our big show. But let's do some stories, Randy. You tell a story and I'll come up with one.
Well, I always do the little birthday thing and the significant events. And so I was doing I am our crack research staff. Just for anybody who's watching, I am the staff.
You don't get paid more for that. Just remember.
But it's from the I'm old category, because I went to a website. There's a bunch of websites that talk about celebrities and famous people in history born in the state. Well, I happen to be on one that talked about living people.
Yeah.
Born on this date, the 21st. And there were probably 70 of them listed, and I think I knew 3 of them. I mean, it's all these actors and singers, and you know what? I don't follow pop culture. I just don't care. Get off my lawn.
Yeah.
Turn that music down. But Timothy Dalton was one I did recognize, one of the former James Bond actors. He is 77 today. And while I wasn't around to witness his real-time music as he composed it, I think we've all heard of Johann Sebastian Bach. Mm-hmm. And he was born in 1685.
Did he lose an ear?
That was Van Gogh. Wasn't that Van Gogh?
Yeah, that's the other guy. That was my other drinking buddy.
I saw on Facebook a coffee mug, I think, with it. The handle on the mug was supposed to be his ear or something, and it's broken off. Anyway, I digress. Here's another now we're going to move into the events, and here's another example of me being so out of touch with pop culture. On this date in 1980, remember Who Shot JR came into our language. That was the cliffhanger episode of Dallas. Remember Larry Hagman was J.R. Ewing?
Yeah.
And I remember even in college, they had an extra credit question on an exam that next school year. And it was Who Shot JR? And I said, I don't know. And I wasn't real happy that that was an extra credit question on a test, because I just don't know and didn't care. A couple other things real quick. The first tweet, Jack Dorsey, 2006 with Twitter. What did you say? Because I know you and I were talking about this a while back. Was that a photo? Did he post? I don't know.
I think that what it was. Okay. No, he said Jack Dorsey tweeted March 21st, 2006, and it simply said this: just setting up my Twitter with no vowels. Just setting up my Twitter.
Okay.
Which, by the way, is what everybody did.
Yeah. I don't think I've used it. If I did, it was years ago. I have an account, which I hear often. Same thing with LinkedIn. Hey, I have a LinkedIn account, but I don't know my password. One last thing on this date. Alcatraz closed the prison in 1963. So okay. now you have it. And I'll move real quick into a story. It's kind of a joke in a way. I mean, it's not a joke about the daylight savings time. Just here in the last week or so, I think Congress is moving toward making that a reality where that's going to stay permanent, the daylight savings time. And there were some reasons why it started and reasons to end it. And I get that. But how many years have we been told, okay, when the time changes, you got to go change the batteries in that smoke alarm? Think about that. And now, how am I to know when to change until I hear that god awful tweet at 2 a.m. and that little thing starts chirping? It always chirps at night. You wake up like, oh no, is there a fire? But anyway, so we'll see if that ultimately passes and how that impacts our lives. So anyway, that's a story. It's just a kind of a fun little anecdote. Did that thing get on? It's been on and off over the years, hasn't it? Didn't it come back in the oil embargo to save energy? Was that one of the reasons? I think
it started it started for the U.S. around World War II. It came back in 73. And by the way, I'm validating what the shirt says, but I'll show it to you in a minute. It came back in 73 during the oil embargo. And lots of other people wanted it to come back because of kids going to school early in the morning, farmers driving their tractors early in the morning, and boyfriends running out of the house early in the morning before the husband came home from third shift. Well, I mean, that was just an imagination thing. Never mind.
You're asking for a friend. I get it.
Yeah. So, all right. So here's my story. So a buddy of mine gave me this shirt, and the top part of it says, "That's what I do. I smoke cigars." But the bottom part is the most impactful. And I know things.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So I'm not going to tell you who the buddy is that gave me the shirt, but I appreciate the shirt because it's spot on. Yes, maybe cigars are a nasty habit. I do not smoke cigars around other humans. I do not smoke them in my home. I only smoke them outside. And if it's too cold, I don't go out and smoke. But anyway, and I know things. I mean, this is spot on. And so everybody believes that except for my wife, and that's okay.
Oh, well, she knows you best. So,
maybe.
Yeah. Well, good deal. I'm glad you like the t-shirt, and we're ready to rock. So you got a quick story for us, or is that the story? The shirt?
I'm going with that as my story, man. I know things. Yeah.
All right. Well, we have a return guest, Melvin Scales.
102.
Wow.
So 102.
When I was in high school, I used to wrestle at 98 and 105. I weighed like 102 pounds. Now my right leg weighs.
So you send your right leg to a wrestling tournament. Come on back when you get done.
Anyway, our guest, Melvin Scales, he's executive director for Meridian Resources. He was on a year or two ago to talk about executive leadership and some other leadership areas. And I think he's also been a host, or will be in the future. I think he's done that once or twice. Melvin's a friend. We've known him, and I think you've known him for many years. And he's going to come back and talk about a topic we haven't really specifically ever covered on our Wednesday show, and that's going to be on Wednesday the 23rd, and that's onboarding, but from a candidate perspective. As a new employee, what are questions you need to be asking? What are some things that you should be doing or be aware of, so that onboarding experience is a positive one? And from a company standpoint, are you doing the right thing to, I'll use a term I'm sure he would never use, to drink the Kool-Aid for new employees so that they onboard successfully and are excited to really join the team and hopefully stay there. I mean, that's a big problem for companies. So he's going to cover it from both sides, but the unique part is from the candidate side, because we really haven't talked that yet. So,
and this is going to be way more impactful than knowing where the break room is and where's my parking spot and what kind of stapler do I get, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Good. Just checking.
Do I have to work weekends?
Do I have to come in the same time everybody else does?
Yeah, I get all of those. Hey, a quick tip, and this one it's one of those things that you think, well, yeah, I hear what you're saying, but And it's simply try to be a better listener. I was doing some interview prep recently with, well, actually more than one person, and I could barely get the question out before they had what they thought was the answer. Yeah. And sometimes you can get away with that you guess correctly, and you're guessing that the question is what they're going to ask. But even if you guess correctly, the fact that you interrupted me, I remember that. And if you do it often enough, I almost wait for it. Just like in the past, we've talked about verbal crutches and that kind of a thing. I'm waiting for you to say, Mm-hmm. And when I hear it, make sure you listen and listen actively. It doesn't hurt to repeat. Hey, if I'm understanding what you're saying and repeat it back, they now know that you've heard what they intended you to hear. So just a thought, be an active listener. And I think that'll help you in life in general, but especially in interviews.
Yeah.
Yep.
I just hope my wife doesn't hear you teaching me this.
Uh-oh.
That choked me all up. Because I get it. I do that to her all the time. And I try to do better. And waiting for her to get done, I hear the period. And then I wait for a moment after the period, and then I respond. But sometimes I know the answer before she gets 5 words away from the period. So, all right, here's my career tip, Randy, and that is this: do what you say you're going to do.
Yep.
I was out last night a little longer than I normally am out. I was up last night. I wasn't out. I didn't go to the bar and smoke, and go to a cigar lounge and drink beer and smoke cigars. That's not what I did. I was just up later doing work and stuff that I wanted to get done. I went to bed. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to be dragging in the morning. And so this morning, 4 o'clock in the morning comes around quick. And I promise you, I don't wake up, but 6:30 comes around quick. And I woke up. And I'm like, man, if I could just sleep for another hour, this will make the day. But I had committed to an 8 o'clock session that I thought I could change. I felt comfortable I could change it. And I didn't think the client would be upset about it. But here's the point. Do what you say you're going to do. One of my previous bosses told me that in February 20th of 1997. I remember that day. February 20th was my first full week on the job in North Carolina.
Okay.
And he said to me, Teddy, I'll support you in everything you do as long as you do what you say you're going to do. Do what you say you're going to do. That pays huge dividends, not just in business and career, but in life. My wife says, take the trash out. By God, I better take the trash out. She says, bring the laundry in, and from the bedroom to the laundry room every Wednesday morning. I better bring that laundry in, whatever it is you say you're going to do, do it. It pays huge dividends, and it creates trust and respect. So that's my tip, Randy.
It does. So we're about out of time. Just as a reminder, we've got Melvin Scales coming up on the 23rd, March 23rd, 11:55 Eastern time. We go behind the scenes and we go live at high noon. We're going to talk about onboarding from the candidate standpoint. It's a little bit different twist. And we'll also get into some other topics. Melvin is, dare I say, has a plethora of topics that we can talk about.
Does he have a shirt?
You know what? I probably need to get him one. Is that in the budget?
It could be.
It could be. Now, Melvin's an old friend. He's very sharp, and we hope that you can join us and ask questions and put your comments in there. If you haven't registered, go ahead and make sure you do. Of course, we always push it out afterward on podcast and throughout LinkedIn, Facebook, and elsewhere. So it's out there. You can catch it, but we would rather have you catch it live.
Come join us and make noise with us. So.
Yep.
All right, buddy. Go forth, have fun, and I'll see you.
See you on Wednesday.
On Wednesday, 11:55-ish. Be good.
All right. See you. Bye.